I am Geoffrey Iron Fist in World of Chaos. World of Tanks. Today we can contemplate together the meaning of skill, whatever is required to do well in World of Tanks. It's a very unique game. In most real-life situations, you choose to be in a team that has people of your ability. The only situations you would end up in a team of 15 complete randoms would be if you lived in the Soviet Union, which is no longer possible, or if you play this game. So I'm going to go through some things in a kind of cool and calculated fashion, and I'll give you lots of info about what maybe skill, the main skill in this game. So I'm playing in this Russian Soviet Churchill, this Lend-Lease Churchill, which requires a ton of skill, as you're about to witness.
Consult the Book of Armament.
I will let you know right off the bat that we are playing 15 versus 13. The enemy tank has 2 AFK tanks. Only in World of Tanks would such a matchup not be a walk in the park. Imagine football or basketball playing like with 2 players down, let's say. So here's the question: what is skill? Let's first ask, what do people say skill is? Everyone has their own idea, or rather a lot of people playing this game have their own consensus, let's put it that way. Considering the mix of people populating the teams, obviously this consensus can sometimes be a little strange. So people who play heavy tank think that they have made an intelligent choice and it makes them already a better player, as heavy tanks have more armor. Yeah, tanks have armor, heavy tanks have lots of armor. So they've made a brilliant choice through their intellectual brilliance. So you have armor, therefore you're a better player than other players who were stupid enough not to have lots of armor. That's their thinking. So, you know, they expect they are good players, basically. Unfortunately, there's nothing that skill will do in this game to help your tank have more armor. Armor just stays the same no matter what.
Fancy, Sir William. I cannot wait till lunchtime.
Oh, my foot! Peng!
There are some basic skills like angling, side scraping, and going hold down. Maybe not in this tank because it has a weak turret, but if your turret is well armored, then you can go hold down, instant skill. If you have a higher tier heavy tank, they're impossible to pen, and also then you have the job of aiming at weak spots. So for that you need superior intellect.
Hampstead wasn't good enough for you, was it? You had to go pouncing off to Barnsley.
Monty Python are doing the narration today. So that's pretty much all the skill you need to play a heavy tank, other than being careful to take cover from Marty. If you get my drift. I've been spotted. This chap spotted.
An entirely new strain of sheep. A killer sheep that can not only hold a rifle, but is also a first-class shot.
First of all, you force him to drop the banana. Then, you eat the banana, thus disarming him.
It would have been a banana if it was an HE shot. This tank, for example, shoots bananas. And once in a blue moon. After it shoots a banana, it stays disarmed and gets killed. So the first video you're going to watch as a new player is that one that explains how to angle your tank, how to side scrape, and how to go hold down. Everyone who has launched this game and played this game has those skills. Then, okay, that's about armor. What about having a big gun? Maybe you think you also have skill if you have a big gun. If you play for a long time, your gun is not going to get bigger. You know, an experienced player's gun is not bigger than someone else who's playing that gun. You know, it's the same gun. 2.5 minutes into the battle, and the enemy team with 2 tanks down is already capping. And I've been shooting almost non-stop since I met the first tank. And we're already down to half the hit points the enemy team has. So back to big guns. Your big gun is not going to have more penetration or more alpha the more experienced you are. So what is skill in this game then? If you think about it, it's just these two things. One is to take advantage of game mechanics such as bushes, consumables and so on, and the other is to hit what you're shooting at.
He's that most rare of criminals, a blancmange impersonator and cannibal.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
Someone else in my team is waiting to shoot once the enemy tanks are down to one shot. Thanks, mate. I don't have enough gun depression here, and I have a weak turret. Bad combination.
I'd like to leave, sir, before I get killed, please.
And we lost, fighting a team that started with 2 tanks down. So, sharp sword decal, proof I've had a great game, right? First class mastery badge, right? Fire for effect, sharpshooter, master gunner, bruiser, steel wall because of my skill of course, and high caliber. I calculated that I did more damage than my entire team combined by simply beelining it to the enemy base. That requires great skill, ingenuity, and superior intellect. Got to their base ahead of my entire team and the slowest tank in the team, or even possibly in the battle. And that's how difficult it is to play a heavy tank. And either that or it tells you something about the craziness of the teams in this game, or maybe both. So let me return to what I was saying about the main skill in the game. It is not about the thickness of your arm or the size of your gun or the speed of your vehicle or anything like that, which is simply a property of your vehicle. The main skill comes down to the fact that you have to shoot to win. And in order to shoot to win, you have to be able to hit what you're shooting at. What are the situations where it is difficult to shoot and hit? Think about it. That's what's hard when playing the tank that's coming up next. So very quickly, once again, all the various things at higher resolution: Master Badge Class 1, Fire for Effect, Sharpshooter, Master Gunner, Bruiser, Steel Wall because of skill, High Caliber, and Defeat. So over to the next tank. You've seen me play this tank before, the Somois SAU-40. This is one of the worst tier tanks overall by win rate or win 8. Its win 8 is just under 500. It has a cell velocity of only 600 meters per second. It's not the slowest cell velocity in this game, but it's not great. There are just a few tanks that are worse than this, the Hetzer, for example, the Valentine 80. So that's the high point of this tank. As it has no armor, slow reload, huge gun dispersion, bad mobility, it's awfully slow, bad traverse. It also fires only high explosive and heat. It has a pen of only 53 millimeters with high explosives. That is, it cannot pen practically any tank that's not an SPG or a glass cannon, and therefore it is about to be nerfed with patch 1.13. The only way to use this tank is to stay hidden, be hopefully in a corridor so that enemy tanks can only move towards you, and hope and pray that a lot of enemy tanks without optics will drive towards you very slowly. In any other situation you're stuck if you have to shoot fast moving tanks, especially if they are moving tangentially in relation to you. you are probably not going to hit them with such a slow velocity gun. Your shot lobs into the air. You have to aim not the enemy tank, but a spot 5 meters ahead of it, and hope that half a second later that's where the enemy tank is going to be. And even then, the gun has such a huge dispersion that your shot will probably not land where you had aimed. So in all these respects, the only tanks that are worse than this one are SPGs. When I'm saying SPGs are hard to play, you may be thinking, come on, you can play with only one hand. Hitting what you're shooting at has nothing to do with the hands in any case. I mean, you know, he can play with 2 hands, but then his aiming will get worse, you know. So you can play with 1 hand, you can also play with 2 hands. I don't know if it's going to help in this case. You can play with a hand and foot, with the back of your head or whatever. Causing damage is not about that. It is about aiming and hitting. And there's so much RNG when playing an SPG because of the awful gun dispersion. You have such a slow gun velocity that, except for the splash, everything else you have is the worst in the game for any tank. The splash is something. I'm not saying that everything is against you. You have splash. But all an SPG has for going for it is splash damage and the fact that it can lob shots over some obstacles that other tanks, you know, cannot do. But it has no armor, no speed, it gets to aim once in a blue moon in this kind of lottery hit and miss way, and it has all the other things that are really, really bad. So anyway, let's concentrate on the game. I hope I made my point. I am bottom tier, and my only chance is that enemies come slowly towards me, that they hesitate, they stop, and hopefully we can keep chipping away at their hit points. You see, look at this huge aiming circle here. Do you remember last time when I was playing the KB1 what a small aiming circle it had, even while moving? Here I'm stationary and fully aimed, and that's what happens when an enemy tank is moving at all. Speaking of the devil, let's see what this KB1 will do.
Sorry.
RNG has been good to me here.
Sorry.
To be honest, I'm quite lucky. That's when all the stars align when playing this tank.
Sorry.
Okay, I've spotted. This is when you have to back away like a true TD. The enemy team has an SPG. Hopefully he was already aiming at someone else. But if I stay stationary, he will shoot me. In addition to low speed, did I say this tank also has terrible engine power? The one guy who had at the front got killed. Most of the team has gone to the town and the lake road. The enemy has no tanks in the town, no tanks at all, they're all here. So we're holding them up tooth and nail, and let's hope our team makes a push on the other side.
How shall we fuck off, oh lord?
No point shooting that fast-moving American TD. I'll probably miss and get myself killed. So my only chance is to shoot tanks that are moving slowly.
I'll just stay here then, shall I, sir?
That KB1 is blind shooting. Where on earth is he? Maybe he's up on the hill. Where would he be? Now I'm having to shoot at the OI with a stupid gun that fires HE. Probably someone is thinking, look, I'm being damaged by a tank that can't pen me, so it is shooting HE. I have so much armor. This is not historical.
Mean to, you put your sword right through his head.
As if anything else is historical in this game, except the way the tanks look. That's about the only thing that's historical. Anyway, I shouldn't be whinging. I really feel sorry for the trollish, impenetrable, top-tier enemy heavies being damaged by HE. This SAV was probably blind shot. They were probably aiming at me, sorry mate. And he possibly has even less armor than I do, although armor is not really a thing for any of us here. It's crazy what we're trying to do. We are holding up the main attack of all the top tier tanks with 3 bottom tier TDs that have cardboard for armor. We are firing HE because that's our main ammunition. And we all have gun dispersion the size of the moon. It's crazy compared to what one of these enemy tanks could do. It's just that they're hesitating. Had they charged us, we would all be dead by now. Oh dear. That guy is going to send a ticket wargaming complaining that I am cheating. I killed a top tier trolley heavy with HE. Unacceptable. The Wolverine explodes nicely. Sometimes if you're lucky and you hit it square on its side.
Simply pull the lever and the 16-ton weight will drop on his head.
Spotted, of course, you have to assume that a single shot will kill you at any moment and not take risks. And this thing, shoot and run away. That's how TDs were supposed to fight. And that was their role in history, in the war. Half the job was taking a shot and the other half was all about getting away alive. And of course in this game, unfortunately, most maps are not made for tank destroyers. They are made for heavy tanks, so heavy tanks rarely get to be out in the open. And for TDs, they're always bushes at the edge of the map. That's the best location, so there's not much room for running away. Oh, okay, I've been sitting around here hesitating because if the Panzer killed my two teammates, I'll have to defend the base. And that's why I was not joining my two teammates who went ahead, but now I will join them. So I'll put down the description of the video down below the overall average win rates and win aids of all heavy tanks, medium tanks, light tanks, tank destroyers and SPGs based on the Russian server. I have calculated them. They are not available, but I've calculated them over all the tanks, the overall averages for the 5 tank classes. What is the average win rate? What is the average win rate for heavy tanks, mediums, lights, TDs and SPGs? And you will see that there is a trend that we go from good to bad. There are, in my opinion, 2 ways to make sense of that. Either all good players are playing heavy tanks, or heavy tanks are easier to play, so the win rate is better. Or it can be a combination of the two. It has to be one or the other, or a combination of the two. Now, I don't know the answer, but my gut feeling is that as novices are being taught to play a heavy tank, that the player base for heavy tanks is not the experts.
Sorry.
And therefore this trend is not because heavy tank players are good players. The relationship probably suggests that heavy tanks are the easiest to play, mediums are a little bit harder to play, lights even harder, TDs even harder and very situational, and then SPGs are the hope and pray category. Mostly because of awful gun handling, and that gun is all they are. So that was a once-in-a-lifetime ace tanker game. Fire for effect, bruiser and high caliber, 2000 something damage. And it looks like I finished all my daily missions in just that one game. But the Churchill did not have a once-in-a-lifetime game. It was only first class badge after doing more damage than the rest of my team combined. So, as for Chaos, you fight one battle, if you're lucky, Chaos is on your side, you finish all your missions, then you're done for the evening, and you can go and have something to eat. So let's now go over to the third battle, the light tank battle. For a light tank, I will showcase the ELC even 90. I wanted to do a mission. At this point, I needed to spot 3 enemy tanks. And when I was playing another kind of tank, not a light tank, I could only spot maximum 2 tanks so far, so I picked this tank to do the mission. It's tier 8, very, very small, with excellent camo, and it also, in my case, it has a very good crew. So the commander has 5 skills. And as I want to spot the maximum number of tanks, I'm going somewhere near the middle. Usually on this map, enemy tanks go either left, but then they
Are there any women here today?
tend to hide in the bushes to snipe from, or else they will come to this side, and much of the fighting happens in the forested area, which is what I'm hoping for. So if you come this side, there is a better chance to get some quick spots if you can get here safely. And I've been already spotted. Time for a diddly-do maneuver, and hope I don't get shot. Our first teammate has exploded already. Fingers crossed now. I'm not going to shoot.
Do you want
Oh, except maybe now.
back to my place? Bouncy, bouncy.
Always one, isn't there? Bang! Bang!
We got lumps of it around the back.
I have scared him off. My job here is to spot. I'm not here to fight. I hope my teammates have worked it out. Hope.
Stand and deliver!
Light tanks are not known for the high DPM, so if I start shooting and get caught out by a medium, my fate is sealed.
Do you want to come back to my place? Bouncy, bouncy.
Very good. Do it again.
I'm basically trying to scare them away from me. They are coming a little too close. I'm not trying to get shots. I wish my teammates were shooting, for example, that Kanonjak Panzer 105 on the back. So I'm just trying to scare them off so they don't come too close to me. That's basically the main reason that I'm shooting. I guess my teammates are too busy dying.
But it's also a first-class shot.
Well, Brian, you've given us a good run for our money. For what?
Oh, it's no ordinary rabbit.
We are losing already. We're 2-4, 2 tanks down. How did my teammates die? The enemy team is stuck in the forest. I mean, how did we lose 4 teammates?
I apologise for that. I think you'll find this a bit more interesting.
He's that most rare of criminals, a blancmange impersonator and cannibal.
How shall we fuck off, oh lord?
If you're calling the author of Our Recherche du Temps Perdu a loony, I should have to ask you to step outside.
Who is killing, bloodshed? Bloody good fancy, isn't it?
Yes, very good.
I'm reloading. Just as I was reloading, our heavy tank sniping from the back dies, the AMX. He sent me a message later complaining. Never mind. The Kanonjak Panzer 105 will carry. Oh, maybe not. He died well.
Drop your panties, Sir William. I cannot wait till lunchtime.
I apologise for that. I think you'll find this a bit more interesting.
I seem to have finished the mission. Okay, there's no one to support me. Oh dear, I expect now I'll be very soon dead.
So I'd like to leave so before I get killed, please.
I'm trying to circle him, but of course I fired all my shots. I'm too small to die. Please, someone shoot him. Someone shot him but missed. All I can do is circle him and make him dizzy. I've scared him off. I don't want him to turn around and shoot me.
Oh my foot!
Okay, someone else shot me.
So it'll just grow back again then, will it?
I totally botched this. I should have just run away.
I think I'd better come clean with you about this. It's not a virus, I'm afraid.
It's not a virus, it's randomness. It's called chaos. Meanwhile, the two super Hellcats are sniping from the red line in the west. I'm not sure who they're sniping at. I cannot think of another game where randomness comes close to what you get in World of Tanks. Not a game that I've played, anyway. What's crazy about it is it's so crazy. Yeah? You never know what to expect, and then everyone complains that it's because somebody else is a bad player or everybody else is a bad player. I guess to a degree I'm doing the same, so I should stop complaining. But it's not about complaining, it's just a feature of this game. You know, that's how it is. What kind of non-randomness do you expect when every team is random and next team is randomly chosen all anew, you know, for each and every game? That's how it's done in Russia. A random bunch of guys in a collective. You don't become a member because of your abilities. You just become a member. Yeah? At least you're not in a gulag. Look on the bright side. So, looking at the bright side, I finished once again a ton of missions in a single game plus sharpshooter, spotter, fire for effect, bruiser, patrol duty. I spotted at least 6 enemy tanks, so mission accomplished, and Confederate for damaging more enemy vehicles than any other player. The AMX I was complaining got 2 kills with a total of 89 damage. Alright, that's my view on what skill is in World of Tanks. It has nothing to do with how much armor you have or how big your gun is. It's mostly about how to aim and hit while trying to stay alive using the game mechanics. The worse you're aiming and probably also your win rate are going to be. Alright, so thank you for watching.